You can read ebooks on a tablet as well. Tablets are a great way, a cheap way of getting an ebook reader and the ability to cruise the internet and go that way. And even on a phone, right? You think, oh, wow, tiny little screen, you're going to put an ebook on it. You'd be amazed. It's still quite readable. Sure, you've got to turn the page a lot. But if you're stuck in a doctor's surgery and there's only Women's Day to read, then you've got half an hour to wait for the doctor if you're lucky, then an ebook is a great little way to read the stuff and see what's going on there. I find a little app called Aldeco is a nice little ebook reader, and it's a totally freebie. You get it off the Play Store and installed on your computer, and it's quite a way doing it, right? So you can just swipe left or right for the next page in the ebook. You can change the size of the text in the ebook. You're best off to do this at the very start of the book, particularly on a cheap ebook reader. And you can change your brightness and orientation. There's oodles of free books available. Right, you've got the slider there on the bottom that you can swing across to move your way through the ebook. And a great program for managing your ebooks and transferring them across onto your tablet, or if you have a dedicated ebook reader, is a program called Calibre, which we've had a session on before on using Calibre, and that's a great way of doing it. The disadvantage of using a tablet as an ebook reader is the battery doesn't last necessarily that long on a tablet, whereas on an ebook reader, particularly those using e-ink technology, you'll find that the battery lasts for weeks between recharges. So if you're on a trip somewhere and you're reading your ebooks on a tablet, then you'll have to recharge every night. However, if you've got an ebook reader, then it's usually only just one recharge, and you're good for several weeks. So let's have a bit of a summary of this, of the mastering the gestures and tablets. If you want to get on top of tablets, then you've got to master the gestures and find out what they are. They're really quite easy to use, the tablets. They do shatter if you do drop them onto the floor, so do be careful with them. You really need a cover for them, or be careful of doing it. They're really convenient for just looking up stuff on the internet, for emails, for video, for ebooks. You can see why the computer industry feels threatened by them. However, they are rather poor for typing and for heavy lifting. If you're wanting to do spreadsheets, have multiple programs open at once, do extensive word processing or something like that, that's what I would call heavy lifting, then the tablets are rather poor at that job. The Android tablet I've been explaining today is, in my opinion, the equal of iPads and cheaper than the iPads. And they're just as good, so don't look down your nose at the Android stuff. On the other hand, the Android stuff is less consistent than iPads. So somebody say, I've got an Android, I need to know, oh yeah, I'm an expert in Android. You go across there and you'll find the screen is laid out considerably different to what you're used to. Once you know one Android, it's really not that hard to get around to do with it. Like all computing stuff, it's important to play with to learn it. It's not going to come to you in a blinding flash, and you'll find every day that you learn something new on it. There are online trainings for it, and I'll put a link up to that in a minute. In my opinion, tablets are not a PC substitute. However, if all you're doing is looking up the internet, just getting emails, maybe watching videos online, then a tablet might be just what you want. And for quite a few seniors, tablet is fine, works well. In fact, one thing I forgot to mention, we had a lady that contacted us, our kiosk, but she wanted to learn how to use an Apple iPad. And I thought, oh, well, yeah, I can flounder my way through that, explaining that. And then she said, I'm totally blind, and I've got a seeing eye dog. And I thought, wow, this is going to be interesting. So anyway, she's come along, she's as keen as mustard, and together we're learning how to use the iPad when you're blind. and all the facilities are there in the iPad to assist people who are blind. And so I thought, I'll have a look at the Android tablets and see what's in that. And sure enough, the same facilities are in there. Maybe not as neat as what the iPad, but then I haven't played with the Android accessibility thing to see what it's like. But yeah, we're up to the stage of having a look through Woolworths, of building a store list, of she would like to be able to buy stuff and have it delivered to her door with groceries and stuff. So as I said, she's a very patient woman. She's prepared to have a go, and yeah, and so I'm only too happy to be able to help her. So it's really good. So if anyone out there does have blind people, by all means, have a look at the Apple and the iPad, and it will take you a little while, the Android, sorry, and the iPad, it will take you a little while to learn the features that are in there for the blind people, but it's there.